Atman Sri Swami Jyotirmayananda commences tonight's satsang with his Sanskrit base chant.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We begin with mystic song by Sri Swami Lalitananda, played and sung by Sri Swami Umananda and Rajneesh.
Our song tonight is based on a poem by Swamiji. It's called I Am Here. In the ocean waves, I play without any care. I age in stormy air, rejoicing in youth at a spring fair. Breaking the mountains, moving the stars higher, the all-powerful wind, giving praise and joy. I know the stars and wrap myself in the soft clouds. I mingle with tender dew on morning flowers, giving wings to the flying white swans. I drinking nectar from the cup of We are recording from the ashram of our revered Guru, Pujya Atman Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda in Miami, Florida. Today is August the 4th, 2020, Tuesday evening, and tonight Swamiji will be lecturing on the Yoga Vasistha. This is series 2018, class number 261. And now Pujya Atman Shri Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Bandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. In relation to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, Nirvana Prakarana Purvardha, section number 2. And good news, dissolution of the chitta. All troubles that a soul faces, and thereby implying all souls, all jivas, all over the universe, and the very universe itself, which provides the field for all experiences of pleasure and pain. All this is the magic created by chitta, chitta-vrittis, thought waves of the mind. Nothing can you experience unless your chitta is involved. Good, bad, progress, anti-progress. All is experienced through your chitta. And all the experiences through your chitta, for easy understanding, are like countless illuminations, going after countless illuminations of the sun, with the instinctive urge of catching the sun. But reflections, they are chitta-vrittis, thought waves of the mind. Thought waves are catching reflections. Thought waves are involving your consciousness. Pure consciousness is like the sun. But pure awareness, absolute, goes beyond your nervous system. But whenever you begin to experience something through your thought, word, through your feelings, through your practical by the senses, by your mind, by your vasanas. Whatever you experience in any level, that experience is, all those experiences are illuminations, as if you are going after a rainbow, going after shimmering lights of the sun. How wonderful it shines in a particular area. In another area it shines and shakes. In another area it's so rosy and colorful. But all that I'm implying, all that is nothing but the sun. Pure awareness is the absolute truth behind all your experiences of the world process. Just like your own bed with nice cushion is the basis of all that you experience in your dream. Dream world is as big as this world. Don't believe in it, wait until dream comes. But the entire dream world is a play of consciousness. And relatively speaking, you wake up. But then you don't really wake up. The world you experience is called long dream. Things you experienced through all your childhood, they all become like dream. All the cream you have eaten from different hotels, they are all dream. I'm joking. The world is worth joking about. And giving another simple way to understand, mind creates cloud-like obstruction. Led by ignorance, the cloud obstruction created by mind is opaque. So if avidya grips your mind, ignorance overpowers your mind, then even the idea there is the sun, that goes away from, that's difficult to catch. But the same cloud, when it becomes purified, don't have to purify completely, even if there is a little hole coming through the cloud, cloud begins to change. A transformation begins within the cloud. And that movement is your movement of spiritual success. That type of change occurring in your mental process. Creating the role of Shubha Vasana, purified subtle desires. We call desire, I'm talking, every desire has subtle source. Same clouds that obstructed the view of the sun and its countless colors that as if create a joyous atmosphere in the world. Same cloud that obstructed all this now begins to reveal all this. One of the filmy songs, Jyoti Kalash Chalke, says, हुए गुलाबी लाल सुनहरे रंग दल बादल के. As this rising sun starts in the early sunrise, that changes, brings such change. Clouds that are normally dark and obscure, creating obscurity, they became a lal. First they became a rosy, gulabi, soft color, rosy color. Then look further, sunahare, they have their golden sunshine, gold type of sunshine. It's more costly than gold. And so, and the term lal and sunhare has their deeper meaning as well. Lal is a term used for it's the most endearing term, someone whom you love very much, called lal. Feminine, lali. A little more modified, lala. Lala, lali. And divine personalities are also praised. Lal deh lali lase. Hanuman is described in the terms of lal deh. Whole body is all red. And the reddish hue emanates from his personality. So all that becomes possible through your very chitta. So instead of allowing your mind to be dominated by dark cloud created by ignorance, understand what transformation can do. As vidya, as avidya is ignorance, vidya is knowledge. As vidya begins to operate, the cloud begins to change. Lal sunhare becomes a red, golden hue spreads through it, and it becomes a source of experiencing divine love. In other words, that type of mind doesn't find anything negative in this world. Look at the sky when you see the sun rise and shining through the clouds. You never think of anything negative. Everything seems so joyous. Mind becomes so inspired that the idea of finding fault, no matter how much skilled you are as a fault finder, that skill goes away completely. Lighting the fire of intuition with the help of the illumined mind, a sage offers the three worlds as a sacrificial offering. Such a performer of spiritual sacrifice is never deluded by the mind. With that type of opening in your mind cloud, opening the ray of light coming through it, with that opening, all that this you live for in the world, I'm talking practical reality, all that you do through your life, in your deeper level, all that you do is like adoration to the sun, adoration to God. Your entire life, your thoughts, your words, your actions, they become part of aradhana, part of divine worship. And your heart, the central feeling of your heart becomes Radha. And who is there with Radha? Krishna. And when they begin to dance, you don't know which one is Radha, which one is Krishna. End up with non-duality. The chitta that is purified by intuitive reason is called sattva. Here sattva is in this context, is not normal type of sattva we talk about. Just like when we use the word well, context is needed. Wherever it is the well, or we are feeling well. Here sattva means domination of sattva, abundance. So abundant that like a cloud that has become thinned out. So when it is thinned out, sunshine is abundance behind it. Sunshine dominates the cloud completely. That completely your mind becomes dominated by the light of knowledge. That's called sattva apatti. And that's a big apatti for the mind. I'm joking, but trick of languages. Apatti term relates to normal folk language. It relates to misery, trouble. Suddenly hurricane comes, is apatti. Suddenly something happens that breaks a good relationship. It's apatti. Disease, headaches, all types of miseries. It's apatti. The whole world is full of apatti. Apatti means something is coming in a negative way to dominate over you. But now, sattva apatti. Sattva is coming to enfold you. But this type of domination is a compassionate mother coming to enfold a baby filled with mud and muck. That's the picture of sattva apatti. Once you have come to that state, there is no going backward into the world of muck. But all this is easily said, but that is your project. You don't suddenly get into sattva apatti, but at least understand what you are working for. And that also is to be understood that you are never deprived of sattva apatti, you go on getting it in degrees. And to give you proper understanding, Yoga Vasistha has made a very clear presentation of a whole plan of a spiritual goal, attainment of the goal. in, as Sapta Bhumikas, 7 steps. The first step is Shubhecha. No matter how things happen in your life, deep down your will that you live for attaining God realization. And therefore you are constantly looking for proper guidance, constantly looking for some insight, some inspiration. And we live in the world to start picking up these subtle points that inspire you Godward. If that type of mind has developed, called Shubhecha. Shubhecha is not easy. The example. So, just to enumerate the points, next one is called Vicharana. A deep, reflective mind that you go on evaluating. Where are you? What is your goal? Vichar is like bringing a light lamp in your dark room of your mind. Now can begin to evaluate what things you have, which window has to be opened, which has to be closed, and so forth. So vichar operates through your mind, and that allows your soul to evolve faster. Tanu Manasi, as vichar begins to operate, all the negative impurities that keep the mind in a state of distraction and in a state of inertia, all those impurities begin to wane, move away. And as that movement starts, called Tanu Manasi, when you are aware of the problems created by your mind, you have a mind with a big load. I'm just giving a crude way to understand what it means. Tanu Manasi, if you translate very literally, it is light-minded, light-headed. That's a good quality. But it is the most profound quality. No, but you take the whole world, all its news, and all that happens even through your own body and mind, light-headed. Lightly, this is all alpa. The sky takes all that happens in the sky, all the clouds and all they do. The sky is light-minded. So that's called Tanu Manasi. And if that Tanu Manasi movement starts, Sattvapatti, clouds begin to shine. This stage, you become a Jivana Mukta. You can close the books, but we are still curious. Now, as a Jivan Mukta, you have become the moon. Now you are waxing. How much will you wax? And all that becomes now a kind of a mystic curiosity. Just for curiosity, you don't gain anything out of it. It will happen automatically. So, what will happen? After Sattvapatti, Asamsakti. You live in a world, handle everything, but the illusion, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, that illusion doesn't grip your heart. You are simply like an instrument. You did certain things, and see, your computer does so many things. You don't sit down, go and saying thanks, thanks. You're just an instrument. That's called Asam Sakti. Next, Padartha Bhavana. Padartha Bhavana, even the idea of being detached means there are certain things from which you must move away and stay detached, or handle them and still be detached. But there are certain things from which you detach. It's like you are experiencing your dream. You have come to realize it is a dream, but still you are experiencing it. Now comes the state, you wake up. Even the dream it has gone away completely, everything. Not a needle point of the dream you carry when you wake up. So when that state is reached, called Padartha Bhavana. All experiences are called Padarth. So anything that is tangible for your experience is called Padarth. It's a matter, not matter in ordinary sense. And Padartha Bhavana means the complete negation of matter. And that culminates, climaxes in Turiya. Turiya is transcendent. And there the tongue stops. So you can't go and sing, what else? So 7 steps that called Sapta Bhumikas. The world of illusion is superimposed on Brahman due to ignorance. And when ignorance is removed by knowledge, by vidya, knowledge, all differences and dualities vanish. Therefore, the vasanas which sustain the existence of the mind disappear in Brahman. It's called vasana kshaya. Vasanas are studied in the terms of Shubha Vasana, Ashubha Vasana. Vasanas are something that relate to subconscious and unconscious of your mind. You would go to unconscious because samskaras. Come to subconscious called vasana. But in this context, when we talk of vasana kshaya, we are relating to both subconscious, unconscious, completely eradicating the world experience. First point to understand that these 2 types of vasanas, klishta vasanas, aklishta vasanas, ashubha vasana, shubha vasana. Ashubha, something that is negative, inauspicious, Shriv positive. And put it more in a simple way, as long as you are trapped by 5 aspects of ignorance. First, the ignorance itself, the source. Egoism, ahamkar, asmita. Raga, attachment. Dvesha, hatred. And abhinivesha, fear of death. These are the 5 fingers of the demon. Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. As long as these 5 fingers are on your head blessing you, you are in the world of sufferings, countless sufferings, continuing with this cycle of birth and death in an endless way. But all these 5 fingers have to be cut down, sublimated. And who does it? Vidya, spiritual knowledge. Instead of constantly holding in your mind dread of death, counting your days, looking into his calendar, seeking blessings for at least 5 years more. I'm joking. In advanced study, in joking, I can bring out many things that are not practically correct. So, that grips the mind of all people until you get into a deeper level of spirituality. Fear of death. And that fear is caused by karma. And karma is product of a blend of raga, dvesha, attachment, hatred, like and dislike. Your mind never makes up its mind. What is really to like? So it's always swinging with like and dislike. This, even while you are having a good feast, halfway of the feast you liked, but now you're someone who is giving you so much hospitality is presenting bigger dishes of more tasty things. You don't have space in the stomach. So you want to move away. Where can you get away from? So, in a very crude way, I'm explaining how role of like and dislike. You never know what is to like and what is to dislike. The mind constantly swings. And this swinging process is urged by your ego, egoism. And the idea I am the ego is based on ignorance, because real I am is the sun. Ego I am is a reflected sun in a mental water. And based on all these five fingers of ignorance, mind continues to lead the soul from life to life, from happening to happening, and all about the world process. We are entering into the next section. Section 3. The cessation of the delusion of duality. Same theme is being further developed. Sage Vasistha continued, O Rama, just as waves arise in the ocean, so too numerous worlds arise from the ocean of the self. That self you are essentially. You are not this perishable body. You are being given now insight into who are you in reality compared to what you view yourself as your identity. What you view yourself as your identity is just a little stick. Even that is is just for an allegorical way to explain. You view yourself as body, and it has a weight and it has a height, etc. And if you are a little more qualified, you say, no, not just body, I'm mind. But anyway, body-mind complex. That's what people view as their identity. And therefore, as your identity is so little, even in Miami. What we speak of in the context of all of America. And what is America? In the context of the whole globe. And what is the whole globe? In the context of millions of stars. So, how little you are as ego. But with true identity, countless world systems that you seem so vast from ego point of view. You will look here the world with countless world systems. You cannot imagine. Every scientist puts an ultimate conclusion that what they have discovered is only little. Much more is to be discovered. But all that I'm leading to understand, the world that you are going to dominate over is not just one world, one Earth planet, but countless worlds become, as it were, your food and you digest them. I'm joking, but the idea is the countless worlds disappear. Just like countless things in your dream. You wake up, where did the dream go? It has become merged with your consciousness. Your consciousness, which is your reality, not relative consciousness, the absolute consciousness. That consciousness contains all the world you can imagine. So much so, Yoga Vasistha gives many other similes. And a simile of, if you are in a dark room and open a window during a sunlight, now a beam of light goes through the window. And there are dust particles that begin to scintillate in the beam of light, creating a wonderful stream flowing into. Now count every dust particle as a world system. All that, Brahman is much bigger than all those world systems. Because first realize how many world systems can there be. One beam of light itself has trillions of world systems. So what about the whole universe? In brief, this is a way to describe that you cannot measure it. It is boundless, infinite. But this entire, to the ego-dominated mind, the world, this is a vast universe you face. And that's where your objective is, that your mind holds cherished desires. When will I go to Alaska? When will I go to Australia? I'm joking. I'm not advertising them. But you always want to find some spot, some status in the world that can make you very happy. But all that you are getting is so little compared to what you already have. It's like sun, forgetting its own identity, gets confused by seeing so many suns and sits down with big headache. Who am I? So that's the predicament from advanced point of view. You are that self. Who is that self, who is the light behind all world systems. That self you are essentially. You are not this perishable body. Be free of the mental concepts of existence and non-existence. Here again you are what we always talk about, bhava pratyaya and pratyaya bhava. What you are missing and what you are not missing. The sense that you have gotten it and the sense that what you got has been stolen. Both aspects are brought about by the vrittis of your mind. They are like a cinema. In a cinema show, you are watching certain plot. In that plot, you are seeing some rich man suddenly losing so many wonderful things he had. On one's time, you see how many things he gained. Now see his whole palace empty, taken away. You experienced a sense of desolateness. You experience a sense of prosperity. Both experiences are useless. They are projections. The screen is the reality that was never lost. There was no loss, no gain. It was always the reality. So when you are trapped by the vrittis of the mind, you will continue to experience gain and loss and many other experiences in that fashion. But the reality is that revelation that transcends gain and loss, that attainment which gives power to every vritti of your mind. Screen gives the support for all that is projected on the screen. The screen is the support behind the teeth of the Dracula, dripping with blood. The screen is the support of beautiful garden with blossoming flowers. The screen is the support of good, bad, but the good, bad, they themselves both are unreal in this context. What is real is the screen. And that is what you are. You are absolute self, pure consciousness, Chit, Prajnanam Brahma, pure awareness. Eternity, immortality, infinity, these are the terms by which you can be brought to human mind. And simple popular term, non-duality. You are essentially Brahman. Your very name Rama implies the bliss of Brahman, in which great sages find increasing joy. Here, it's all the art of writing. Along with all these teachings, the mantra Rama is being introduced. Ra is the Agni Bij. That's how the Uttarayana path begins. Agni Jyotiha Shukla. And if you follow the spiritual path, our term points to that. A movement of awakening your spiritual potentiality. And Ma is the climax. In your vocal movement, when you say Ma, lips close. In the act of pronouncing Ma, all your vocabulary comes to an end. That means the highest goal. Now you rest forever. Mauna. So Rama implies from the state of vairagya that enters your heart to the state of absolute rest, eternal rest. Therefore, even ordinary time when you rest is called aram. Aram. Oh God, oh Rama, come. It's the literal meaning. You are as if going to meet him a little. If you rest a lot, Vishram. Aram, Vishram. If you are getting little delighted, Manoram, Manoram. The word mind is feeling delighted. So this Sanskrit word, Manoram. Rama has entered your mind. And these Vijaksharas, they are not property of any nation. All literature in the world, who has inspired people to follow the literature? God within. So all literature follow a Vijakshara movement. certain, in their literature, certain letters have the same implication. R term in Sanskrit, always ra, ra, r, r, that vibrates, that creates a sense of strength and explosion. Now in English, the very war, strike, and anything that requires big jerk, a lot of R is used in that. I'm just giving you a broad way to understand. That languages, when you speak, you are dealing with bijaksharas. And therefore, when you speak certain language that has very artistic, sweet melody, listeners become relaxed. You become also relaxed. Because it is impinging upon your mental process in a positive way or in a negative way. But I have just given you a big extension of that. But that's how mantra science came to, mystic science came to be brought in the world of sadhana. Consciousness is not different from the experiences of the world process. Now, a summary is being given and follow it. Experiences of the world process are not different from the ego sense. To understand the world process, first key is your ego sense. Because if you are not there, whom are you talking about? It is only in relation to ego sense that the world has its reality. So therefore now, what is the source of ego sense? Ego sense is not different from the jiva, individual soul. When you identify your soul as ego identity, then that is individual soul. The same sun reflected in a jar, the reflected sun is the individual soul, jiva. Jiva itself is not the absolute reality. The jiva is not different from the mind. But for the soul sun to reflect requires water. Here mind is the basis. Mind is the cause. The mind is not different from the senses. And think of having a mind and not senses. So senses are another extension of the same mind. Each one is extending into another. The senses are not different from the body. And the body is not different from the world. And all this have their source, and the world is simply a projection caused by consciousness. Consciousness is the reality behind the world. So all these steps that I described, they are nothing but pure consciousness, absolute. And with this I will conclude. Om Ram 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 Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om. Prayer for shower of Karunamaya Ras of divine grace over all of you, and may God bless you with Shakti, strength to face challenging situations, Bhakti, love of God that gives your life amazing spiritual taste, delightful taste, called Saras, and Mukti. That's the goal, to discover your lost identity. Aham Brahmasmi. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukum Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyama Mritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om Tat Sat.
Does anyone have any questions? Then we conclude for tonight and we await the miracle of tomorrow.